Hey guys, Joe here from SaveMore, and it's Bassmaster Classic Week. I filmed this ahead of time, so I have no idea who's in the lead after day one, but I hope you guys are able to be with us right now and see the Mojo Fishing HypnoToad. This is our last product feature during Bassmaster Classic Week. I really hope you guys can stick with us and check out the frog designed by John Sokup. All right, so stay with us.
Two-time NPFL champ, SaveMore Outdoors Pro from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. Put your hands together for the hookup, John Sokup.
All right, guys, welcome back to another SaveMore FishMore segment of the day. And today we're talking frogs. This is Mojo Fishing's HypnoToad and Pop'n HypnoToad. Now, here at SaveMore, we carry 7 colors, but at the Bassmaster Classic Expo, we brought you 6 of them. 6 just fit on a display rack better. So we had to leave one at home, but I'm going to talk to you guys about what John worked hard on when he designed this frog and what we've kind of heard from some other pros that we've put these in the hands of and the things they've really enjoyed about it. So first and foremost, one thing John really wanted when he designed this was he wanted a white frog that really popped like no other. So this is our snow white color, and it absolutely pops like no other. This thing has been traveling around with me all over the country, in my truck, in my boat, showing tons of people these. People have rubbed their dirty, snotty hands all over them. She's still popping. I mean, she still looks nice. So John really wanted a white, a shad imitation that he could fish in a weedless frog version that really just popped better than anything else he'd ever seen. So that was a big one. The next thing John really wanted was he wanted a super soft bodied frog. So when he designed this thing, he wanted it to compress really easy so it exposed those hooks. What a lot of amateur fishermen don't really realize, and I didn't realize until I had really hung around some old heads for a while, if you fish a frog, you really do need some heavy gear. 30 to 65 pound braid. 30's light. So, I mean, we're talking 50 pound braid, 65 pound braid, Ish Monroe throwing 80 pound Iowa Samurai braid. You need some heavy line and a heavy rod. I mean, Ish is one of the most experienced frog fishermen in the United States, and he's using like a 7-9 heavy. So he's throwing heavy line on a heavy stick. But not everyone is doing that. And I wasn't doing it when I was in high school and college throughout my 20s. I didn't grow up in like a super frog fishing, like high efficiency program. Like there just wasn't a lot of frog fishing around. So I didn't know to be using all of this stiffer, high-powered equipment. And we wanted a frog that allowed everyone, the amateur fishermen like I once was, like John once was, we wanted them to have the ability to still get a lot of hookups and get those fish to the bank or get those fish in the boat. So we wanted a soft body that collapsed and gave you the opportunity to get that hook and that fish really well and keep them pinned all the way to when you land them. So that was number 2. That was his other big thing. And then lastly, John wanted a frog, especially in a popping version, that walked really well. This thing, the Pop'n HypnoToad, walks absolutely effortlessly. You can pretty much walk it just by turning the handle. All right? You don't have to be working that frog with your arm, working it on a slack line like you're fishing a jerkbait. You don't have to do that to get the Pop'n HypnoToad to go side to side on you. So those were his 3 big things. Was he wanted something in a Pop'n version that walked really good. The regular version, skips across mats and heavy cover really well. But the Pop'n version, you get a lot more side-to-side movement. He wanted a frog that collapsed really good to give you a super high hookup ratio. And I promise you, this is the softest frog I've ever touched. I mean, you guys can probably see it takes no effort to expose those hook points. All right. And then he wanted a white one to imitate shad really, really well. All right. So if you get in a shad spawn situation and they're kind of up in some lilies, maybe there's some lily pads growing up against a retaining wall. That way you can get kind of a weedless presentation in there, but still match the hatch for those fish. All right. So that's what you get. Guys, I promise you the only other thing we didn't talk about is the hook in this thing, and it is an awesome hook. All right. What I like most about this hook is the spacing. I think the space in between these hooks also allows for a really high hookup ratio. I know a lot of people who think their frog might be like a little too weedless, often bend their hook points up, and you never want to do that. What you want to do if you have a frog that's like too weedless and you're not hooking them enough is you want to bring those two hook points closer together, squeeze them in. I don't have to do that with this one. The body collapse is really easy. Those hook points get exposed really, really easy. And I have no trouble getting a hook in a fish. I'm not a big 7'9" rod guy when I'm fishing a frog. If I can fish a frog on like a little 7'1", I'm going to do it. All right. So for me, I'm going to do it because A, I can walk that frog easier, and B, I can cast it much, much more accurately. So I like the smaller rod, the slightly lighter gear. This is a great frog for a guy like me. I'm not a huge power guy. It's just not my fishing technique. So I think the majority of us out there watching probably aren't huge power fishermen. We're not all Ish Monroe. So this frog works really, really good for the majority of us. I love it. I just think it matches the gear we already have really, really well. John worked really, really hard on these 14 models. Again, you see 12 of them here. These are the 12 we're bringing to the Bassmaster Classic. So come check them out. They're going to be $5 at the show. All right. Thanks for watching with us, guys. Thanks for tuning in for another Save More, Fish More segment of the day. Who's going to win the Classic? I'm interested.
Yeah.